John Wooden said, winning takes talent, repeating takes character. I'm looking forward to seeing what the character of our team is. You know, last year we really snuck up on people and had a lot of unexpected successes. I'm not sure how that's going to play out this year. You know, I think we have a big target on our back. People have high expectations. We do have talent. I'm looking forward to seeing how all those pieces come together. As coaches, one of the great puzzles is how does each year fit together? How does the team fit together? How do the pieces within the team fit together? And I'm looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. We returned some very strong players. What's going to surround them? How will that all work? I'd say that's what I really look forward to, along with the process of figuring that out. You know, that process has already begun through preseason work and into practice. It's a fun time for coaches, and this year should be no different than any other year. Having two players like Zach Schaefer and Matt Ashcroft is a real luxury as a coach. You know that you can put guys on the court that they're going to make shots for you, and we haven't always had that. We won't always have it, but right now we have it, and it's a tremendous luxury. And as a coach, it allows you to plan to do things in a certain way. We look for them to continue the success they've had in past seasons, and they'll continue to make shots. What their goals are to make themselves better, make their teammates better, and make their team better. And I'm hopeful that as seniors now, they will take on leadership roles, that they will go from leading by example, which they've both done very well in the past couple of years, to now becoming more vocal leaders, well-rounded basketball players, and not one or two trick ponies. Again, they will have targets on their back. You know, Zach Schaefer's a player of the year in the conference. Everybody knows about him. Everyone's going to game plan to take him away. What are we going to do? What are they going to do? How are they going to handle those types of pressures? Matt Ashcroft is an all-conference player. People understand what he's all about, what his game's all about. There's no surprises. You know, so now, for you to take the next step as a player, you have to add other dimensions to your game. Otherwise, you're not even the factor you were in the past, because everyone's taken you away. They've taken away what your strengths are. So you know, we expect them to be better than they were last year. We expect them to make other players around them better than they did last year. We expect them to lead. And I think you start with Derek Hall. 6'11" center. Down the stretch of the season, he was a double-double machine. I think this year he should start that way and should only get stronger. We have very high expectations for Derek. And when you combine his talents with the talents we have with some of our perimeter players, I think it forces teams to have to pick their poison a little bit about what they're going to defend against. You know, here's a 6'11" kid who can play inside or outside. You know, what are you going to do to defend him? If you're going to take something away that he does, now is that going to take away from your defense of Schaefer and Ashcroft? And so I think he's going to have a real big impact on us this year, and I'll be real surprised if he doesn't have a true breakout season. Jeff Sparrow is someone who will certainly see an expanded role from what he saw last year. He's a fifth-year senior. He'll be our starting point guard. He, in an interesting way of doing things, as a sophomore, he was our starting point guard. He missed a year because of a medical red shirt. Then he came back last year as a fourth-year junior and was our backup point guard. Now he'll go back into being our starting point guard. And he's a real fiery kid, very vocal on the court, very, very good defender, tough kid, tough-minded person. He'll play a big part in whatever we do this winter. It just comes naturally with the point guard position, we have high expectations for him. He has high expectations for himself, and having the luxury of someone with that kind of experience to step in at the point guard spot is really nice, especially when you have graduated a starting point guard, as we did. So that's another guy that I really think will have an expanded role. So those two guys, Derek and Jeff how they play is just as important as how Matt and Zach play into what type of success we're going to have come February and March. Well, every team poses a challenge, different ways. If you're looking at purely on paper, who is the strongest team of our non-conference opponents, the fact that we're going to the Franklin and Marshall tip-off tournament, the host school last year was in the Final 8 in the country, the year before was in the Final 4 in the country, and they have most of those players back who are predominantly now seniors. So that's going to be a very, very strong team. Whether we play them in that tournament, we each have to win first-round games, so we would potentially be playing them. That'll be a neat team to play, a good challenge to play. Going to the DeSales Holiday Tournament, we're opening with Ursinus College, which is a very strong program. They're only 3 years removed from being in the Final Four. DeSales has been to the Sweet 16, the Elite 8 the last 2 years. That's a very strong team if we would get to play them in a final round of that tournament. We have Susquehanna coming into one of our tournaments. They're very good. We have a lot of high quality teams on our schedule, and it's something we really, philosophically, we really try to do is have a challenging non-conference schedule. The rigors of our conference schedule are such that we need to toughen our team, and last year I felt like we did a very good job of that, and it really prepared us, because not only did we play good teams, but we came through it very successfully and set us up down the road. It's tough to do, and sometimes you take some lumps, but we want to play the best teams out there. And I get input from our players when I'm setting up the schedule, and when I asked them if they wanted to go to the F&M tournament this year, they didn't even bat an eye, and they said absolutely, because they feel the same way. We may go and we may play some of these teams and really take a beating, but I think even if that happens, it makes you better as a person and better as a team, because now you've had some adversity and you learn from that, and again, it ties into that process of making a team better, and we want to do that. Playing Alvernia is always fun. This past year they joined the Commonwealth Conference, and what that meant is we took a real nice little backyard rivalry where we played them once a year, and we turned it into a twice-a-year event. And like any conference game, playing against Alvernia or any other team, it's going to be a hard-fought, intense game where the stakes are very high. Stakes are high because you have to win conference games to get into your conference playoffs. Get into the conference playoffs, you have a chance to win your conference tournament and get an automatic berth into the NCAA tournament. With Alvernia, when it was a non-conference game, players knew each other, they'd battle each other, it'd be intense. Win or lose, you'd want to win, but the stakes weren't quite what they are now. Now, you're playing them in these conference games. So last year we played them in conference play for the first time. We go to their place, we win a close game the first time around. They come to our place the second time around, and next thing you know, you have one of those instant classics where you have a final score of 111 to 110, double overtime, crazy things going on all over the place between how the game ended in regulation, comebacks in both overtimes, a game that you just don't see. Those things don't just happen. I'm sure people think that's going to be the norm. It's not going to be. They're going to be hard-fought games. They're going to be intense games. We're going to go at each other like crazy. But you're not going to see something like that again. That's something you just take, you treasure, and you're glad you won because no one deserves to lose a game like that. Having Alvernia in the conference, I think, is a very good thing for the local basketball scene. Because now they get to see Albright Alvernia play twice a year. It's going to be a packed house. It's going to be a great atmosphere with two teams really, really battling each other, because the kids know each other so well. We live so close to each other. We play in the same leagues, come from the same conferences. So there's a lot of local knowledge that goes into it. Plus, everyone seems to have, in Berks County, has a rooting interest in this game. If no other reason, it's a great reason to go to Albright, because you get to play in a game like this, where it's a big crowd, intense atmosphere, and you never know when that great game's going to come around. Men's basketball in the Commonwealth Conference is challenging night in and night out. We know every time we go to play, we're going to be tested. And we know that the night we don't show up to play is the night we're going to lose. Just like any other team in our conference, if you don't show up to play, your opponent's going to beat you. Whether it's at home, whether it's on the road, it doesn't matter. Top to bottom, our conference is strong, it's competitive, it's tough. To point out one or two teams that I would expect to be the best or the biggest challenges would be doing a disservice to the other teams in our conference. Last year, we beat Lycoming in the conference championship game. They'll be very good. We beat Messiah in the conference semifinals. They'll be very good. Elizabethtown is always very good. Widener was a little off last year. They won't be off this year. They're very good. Lebanon Valley's always tough. Alvernia, we talked about before, they're very good. It's a good conference for men's basketball. And it's a big part of why we play such a challenging non-conference schedule, is to get ready for night in and night out battles that we're going to face. And last year we were picked to finish 4th in the conference. We probably had the 4th best talent in the conference. What we had that others didn't have was intangibles, and we had a lot of guys that were the glue to the team and held the team together and understood their roles and played hard. Those are the teams that have success in our conference. You have to have talent, you have to have role players, you have to have guys that understand how to play and how to play within their role, and you have to play hard. And if you do those things, you're going to have success. We preach that all the time. Albright basketball is about playing hard, getting better every time, having pride in your game, being smart on the court. If we can do those things, we're going to have success, and I'm not real concerned with who we're lining up against. And I think every other coach in our conference would say the same thing. If you can do those little intangible things and surround it with talent, you're setting yourself up for success. Will we do that this winter? Remains to be seen. Will any other team in our conference do that? Remains to be seen. We certainly have the talent to do it. Winning's fun. Winning's not easy, and it takes everybody to understand what they need to do, how they need to do it, when they need to do it. You do those things, you set yourself up for the potential to have success, and we certainly hope that the 2010-11 version of Albright basketball sets themselves up for success.